All right, welcome to Practical Shooting After Dark. My name's Ben. On deck today for another entertaining show, we have Mr. Hwansik Kim
Hello,
and
once
Miss
again.
Miss Maria Kushina from
Hello.
coming at us from Russia. And hopefully the internet connection will hold up a little better now. Well, this will give you the signal if can't hear you anymore. Jesus. Isn't your internet typically good there? Like,
You know, Russia.
how are you guys supposed to
It's
do all that cyber attack hacking shit if your internet's no good? What's going on with
it's
that?
always like this. For people, all the worse. So,
All right, Maria, I'd like you to lead off tonight with some discussion of your training because I get tons of questions about your training. People think you're a freak of nature, and maybe you are, I don't know. But I'd be very curious to know what details you'd like to divulge about your training as far as like how much you train, how many rounds, what type of exercises you like to do, both maybe physical exercises and shooting exercises. What sort of things do you find valuable?
okay. So I hope that after my speech, you will understand that I'm naturally um,
Talented? Gifted?
talented. Yes. After I will tell you the truth, how much I train. So, my shooting season divides into two parts. First part, it's like summertime and then winter time. So in winter time, I'm used to train in indoor range, and that's the difficulties because it's small.
Oh, here we go.
Train for example swingers. Do you hear me?
I didn't
Yeah.
for a minute, but yes, the indoor ranges are small and a bit shitty. I caught that part.
Yes. Yes. So there is not too many targets. For example, I can't train swingers there, and so on. So during winter in indoor range, I train twice a week, and it's about 220 rounds a training. So it's like 500 rounds a week. So this is the maximum.
Do you
I'm
do
telling you right
dry exercises, dry fire at
You
all?
know,
You
I
don't keep your
do.
gun at home,
We
obviously.
do not keep. We do not keep, but we have like I don't know how to say that in English. The gun which cannot shoot, like it's the
Yeah,
copy, a real copy. So we have
Blue
it.
gun.
So yeah, a blue gun. You name it that. So I have a blue gun. So but that's a pity. But I dry fire with it just before some matches. So easy for me. That's okay to be in normal level, but during summertime, I try to train as much as possible. For example, I can go 7 times a week, but another week I can go, for example, 3 times. So it depends on the time. But I try to train minimum like 350 rounds a training during summer.
seven
So
days a week if you can.
yes, 7 days a week if I can. Like, of course, it depends, but I'm trying to do as much as possible. Mm.
Would you say you train more now than you did maybe 5 years ago or less?
I think maybe even a little bit less because of the matches. Because right now I have more matches, and that's why all those travelings, they short
Oh, I know. It sucks.
the trainings. Yes. So for example, we were in Africa, and I didn't train at all. Maybe 2 times before this match. So between Extreme in Czech and Africa, I trained just twice. So that's crazy. So. That's why.
Yeah.
It depends. Yeah, but about how I train and what do I train? For example, during summer, it's more like easy for me because during the competition, I write to my book, for example, at the stage, what I did wrong. Usually it's all the same. I mean, during one match, all those mistakes are the same. Like I see, for example, I shoot so terrible on the swingers. Like all the match,
So
I
you
have
write
some
in your
shits there.
book, don't shoot
Yes.
terrible on the swingers.
No, so I just write there like I did bad on the swinger and blah 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 and so on. Just some
Yes.
mistakes which I did. And for example, on the end,
Oh, here we go
I
again. Water bottle. We're giving her the signal.
do I to train right now? Is this okay?
Yeah. It's great. No, we're giving
Yes,
you the
it's
Right now.
signal of it sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you write down notes on what to train in the book. Excellent. So do you have like a few favorite drills or exercises that you do work on at the shooting range?
Usually I train different distances, like very short one, and mixing it with plates, targets with no shoots. So I try to train difficult targets, like I don't know, crazy no shoot on 25 meters. Some really difficult things. That's why when I come to the match, they usually do not put such crazy things.
Unless you go to
Yes. So
Africa,
yes,
then
yeah.
you're fucked.
I just wanted to add that. So it's easier. Like I'm not shocked when I see those no shoots and so on. So usually on the training, I try to do some really difficult things, to shoot more plates and so on, to do many transitions. Mhm.
Yeah. Well,
Do you
that's
do
great.
any physical training?
Yeah, I do, but I'm not going like to the gym with some heavy weights. I just do with my own weight, like some running, something like a CrossFit, but not using those like heavy stuff because it's like not good for my health. So just with my own weight, some
Lightweight.
exercises.
Body
Yeah.
body weight.
Body
Yeah,
weight.
I don't
Body
like
weight.
I actually got injured lifting too heavy earlier in the spring, and I was like, yeah,
Mhm.
that was stupid.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, no, I understand that completely. Well, Maria, that is very enlightening for people. Very enlightening. So thank you for sharing. I do
thank
appreciate
you.
that. And you feel free to jump in anytime on the other stuff that Kim and I talk about. I'll probably interrogate you for your opinion a little more. I've got something I want to talk about, and the note I wrote down is the drill is not the procedure. It's not just a procedure. So what I mean is, I train with a lot of people, as both of you probably know, and there's a lot of different exercises you can do for shooting to try and improve your shooting. So, like, let's say we're doing Kim, you're familiar with practical accuracy.
Yep.
All right. So Maria, I'll explain this to you so you can be kind of our check. So for practical accuracy, you draw your gun and you just put no shoot all around the A zone for a target, and you want to shoot 6 shots dead into the center of the target, not into the A zone, in the center, as
Mhm.
as sort of as accurately as you can shoot the gun. Okay,
Mhm.
that's what you want to do. The time limit for the shots is when you see the sight come down again, you pull the trigger and shoot again, right? So draw the gun, no time limit for that, and then you shoot into the center of the target. As soon as the sight comes down, you send the next shot, and you're looking for marksmanship errors where if you push the gun sideways or push it down or something like that. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So, for example, let's say we're running that drill, and then guys would say, yeah, I've done this drill. This is a bill drill, where that's a different thing where you draw the gun and run 6 shots into the A zone, in some time limit or as fast as you can or something like that. So they're different drills, and there'd be different training focal points, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like for practical accuracy, the first drill I talked about, you'd be focused on your grip, how you're interacting with your pistol to make sure that you're shooting the pistol straight. And with the build drill, it's like draw the gun quickly, get your grip really quickly, and run those shots into the A zone as fast as you can work the trigger. So there's different training focal points for these drills, even though if you look at them, they look similar. Does that make sense, everybody?
Yeah, yeah.
So it is a common, I'd say it is one of my more common complaints about people training is that they're not paying enough attention to what it is they're supposed to be focused on for the drill, and they're just kind of looking at the procedure. It's like, okay, draw and shoot 6 shots. It's like, well, fuck, man, no. Pay attention to what the procedure is and what your focal points are, so you're actually going to improve instead of just going through the motions. So that's my rant. Rant mode off. Any thoughts on that, Kim?
I like it because even if you, let's say, shoot the same looking drill, depends on the focus, you are gonna be learning different things.
Yes, amazing. And if people shoot the same looking drill and they can't distinguish drills that look the same, like they make no distinction, it makes me think that they're shooting the drill and focused on nothing, which would be not great. So, Maria, anything to add to that?
But I think that's the main problem of all people. We're all different, and that's why you can see, like, for example, I think those shooters who shoot more, like on a better level, they see this distinction,
Yes.
and those who just start, they do not understand what's going on there. So that's why I think to work with the high level shooters, it's like easier, because they know what you want from them. So that's why I think it's only about time. So you need to be patient, Ben.
I'm a patient man. I'm a patient motherfucker. What are you talking about?
Not to shout and beat them, just a little bit to wait.
I'm not
Explain
the
it.
person who tases people in their classes for not running fast enough. That's your thing. Oh, I'm really glad she cut out right now.
Yeah.
Because
Well, I listened to a sports scientist lecture one time, and then he said the difference between the bodybuilder and regular gym rats, the difference is even if you do the same bicep curl, the bodybuilders always focus on specific muscle and working that muscle, and just gym rats just do it through the motion, listening to music, not really focusing on anything. The outcome, even if it's the same motion, is very different.
yeah,
Yes,
Well-
that's the same.
that makes sense. Well, Maria, you started teaching now, so are you finding the same issues in your classes?
I did some classes, and I don't know how about you, Ben, but for me that's really like difficult. I mean,
Yeah, it's not easy. Nobody respects
You
me
know-
enough.
yeah,
feel.
yeah, that's true. It takes so much energy from you.
Yes.
And like at the beginning, when I started, and there were many people, and sometimes I didn't understand. I watch on them, explain them something. They watch on me doing different things at all.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking, my God, are they listening me, or they're thinking I'm stupid and coming to them just, to say some shits and so on.
Yes,
So,
Maria.
First of all,
Now you
first of all,
understand my life. That's my whole life. That's what I do every day. Now you get it.
Yes.
So, that was quite difficult, but on the end, it was better. Like second day, I understood how it works, and I already found the way to each of that shooters. So that was easier for me. So I knew what what they will do and so on. So that was easier. The second day was better, but still, it was very difficult for me. Like I lost so much energy. I think next 3 days I used to just relax. I can't do anything after that. So because I want to control everything, to every shooter to improve, so that was difficult.
Yeah, Kim
I don't know.
agrees.
But Ben, I don't know how you live like that. I mean, like so many classes all the time.
Nobody
That's
knows.
crazy.
It is. No, Kim, I didn't. A friend of mine, Kim, told me that you did 3 range days of training people in a row, and
Yep.
you're like, I don't understand how Ben does this.
So I actually came back from Idaho 2 days ago. So I was teaching at a junior camp. So there was 20 juniors, age from 6 years old to 17 years old. Wow, it was very interesting. The understanding of how I should be explaining for adults and kids is completely different.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was funny.
Oh. Anyway, that's good. Kim, what do you got?
Yes. So I want to talk about this shooting, reloading technique for moving backwards. Because when I shot IPSC Nationals, one of the guy in my squad got DQ'd on the first stage after only 10 shots. So what happened over there was a U-shaped stage where you go forward and come back, and then go over the barricade and then go forward again. So basically what happened was he was coming backward, and the gun was facing downrange where his body is facing uprange, and then he tried to reload when the gun was downrange but body uprange, and the gun broke 180 basically. And I watched very different videos on that stage how people reload it, and I found one guy just reload and start running backward, or just like this guy. I also did what this guy do, so I was running uprange and reload while running uprange, but my gun was of course, on the downrange. And then there was another technique where when you slow down to make the turn, then you can reload in that spot. And another guy was just not reload the whole way and shoot one target and then reload after that. So there's many different ways to do. But I think a lot of people, when they start running uprange, some people don't really know how to handle the gun, especially going. If you're right-handed, when your gun is over your shoulder like this, then if you want to make the reload, it's very difficult sometimes, because if you never tried it in dry fire or practice, there can be two different stories. The first one is, of course, bringing your gun to your chest area, which breaks 180. Or second one,
that's bad.
Yeah, you can sweep your shoulder too. So there's multiple way that you can avoid that. But I think a lot of people should, when they have the gun over the shoulder, make sure it's not in front of the shoulder. So I would make sure the muzzle is actually over the shoulder behind you, so to say.
Yeah.
So you don't have any risk of sweeping your shoulder. And also, when you try to reload, instead of bringing your arm into your chest, I would try to rotate your shoulder slightly, not instead of completely upward. I would rotate my shoulder slightly and then keep the gun next to you instead of bringing it in.
Okay. I'm not sure that that's going to translate too well for the audio only people, but
yeah. But I would recommend not reload at all when you're running up range.
So, like, the best way to handle this is, well, the real message here is practice moving uprange and reloading.
Yes.
A lot of you don't want your first encounter with that to be in a match, or you want to be comfortable with it, so make sure you're practicing that stuff. It's very important.
Yeah. If you're not comfortable, just reload then and run.
All right, good. Let's move on to some questions, guys, because the time marches on. Maria needs to go to bed at a reasonable time, I think. Hey, Ben, you sexy son of a bitch. About to make the switch in a few weeks from a polymer striker-fired gun to a steel double-action, single-action gun. Any advice on specific practice or drills to help make the change easier? Kim, you're the man for this, because you can shoot both. You could shoot striker-fired, you could shoot DASA. What's the move here? How do you practice that?
Yeah, so whenever I switch back and forth, to me, striker fire, so DASA to striker fire gun, I don't really feel difference, because it feels as if striker fire gun is just single action only. But when I go back to double action, I would separate two different trigger pulls. So I would, in dry fire, practice the double action part. So making sure that I can shoot accurate shot with the double action, because once I only shoot striker fire, I don't remember how far the trigger starts and how deep I have to go. So I would just, not even a target, I would aim at a blank wall so I can see the front sight very well, and then just pull the double action in two different manners. So first manner will be pulling the double action really fast, so I'm shooting closer shot, and I observe the front sight movement. And also the second manner will be pulling the double action slower, so more gently. So when I pull it, in the process of pulling the trigger, I don't want the front sight jiggling. And also I would like to find out where actually the trigger breaks or the hammer falls, because that helps in really far shots. If I want to stop in the middle way and then pull it again, then I can know where it's breaking, where the trigger is breaking.
Yeah, so basically you're going to learn the trigger on that gun, and you're going to learn double, you're going to learn single, you're going to like know it in and out. That makes sense to me. Practice your draws and reloads, my man. Like, that's going to be the magic stuff. All right, let's move on to the next question. Hey, Ben, I don't have access to a range to allow me to set up the accelerator drill as intended by you. My question is, can the drill be set up with three different size targets, i.e. full size, 1/3 size, and half size targets against a wall at 7 yards to simulate the distances of the targets in the drill? Will the drill have the same usefulness? So, Maria, do you train on mini targets ever?
But Ben, please tell me the same thing one more time. Just
All right,
translate it.
so Homeboy's trying to set up an exercise that has a target at one at 7 yards, one at 15 yards, and one at 25 yards, and he's asking if it's acceptable to use mini targets to simulate distance.
To simulate distance, you mean to take smaller targets or what?
Yes, he wants to use smaller targets instead of taking big targets and putting them further away. I think he has a range limitation here, like your indoor range, where he's just got to work with some range issue.
But for sure, if it's indoor range, so it works. But I will not do that, for example. If I would train outdoors, so for me that's different, you know, to shoot the small target or far distance target. So it's completely different. So I think it will not, how to say it, remove that for 100%. I mean, it will not be the same for 100%. It still be different for them. But if they do not have this this chance to train or the distance, so it will be okay.
But yes, it's better than nothing, I think is what she's saying.
Yeah.
But it ain't the real thing. All right. Well, good. One more question we'll do about prize tables, guys. Hey, Ben, what's your thoughts on random draw prize tables? Maria, that's where to get a prize, instead of the winner getting the prizes or order of you get the prizes in the order you finished in the match. Random draw is like, hey, we have 8, 10, 12 guns, and we'll just pick names at random, and those will be the people who win the stuff. Got it? Okay.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on random draw prize tables? I was talking with some guys I shoot with, and they expressed frustration in the fact that many of them have been shooting well and placing high in the standings for years, but are never lucky enough to win a high value prizes in the draw. They said they would like to see some prizes given to the top shooters, or at least be given a higher chance to win for putting in the work and performing. I personally don't shoot for prizes, but I get where they are coming from. Where I shoot, all the prizes are given out by random draw. If you place in the top, you get a paper certificate usually. All right, so any thoughts on random draw prizes, folks?
But you know, in Europe, we have it only like that. I mean, you know, you've been there. So we have like a lot. So we have like a lottery. So on the end, for example, of the match, there is, for example, 2 guns. So they just grab the papers with the numbers and they're telling who's the winner.
So what do you think about that? Is that unfair? Well, it's
but
not
you know,
unfair.
like we do not have something else in Europe. So in any case, that's good. But for sure, I think for professional shooters, that's more interesting to fight for some prizes, guns or whatever, ammo, I don't know, anything. So it makes you, you know, to.
Well, there we go again. But I think we're getting the point here. Yes. So Maria would like to do that.
So
no,
as
we
I
nailed
said,
it. Hit it
so
on the
people
park.
used to.
I'm sorry, Maria. Go on.
Okay, so that means that you need to push, like to fight for your win and so on. So I think, of course, it's more interesting and better when the winner receive some prizes, you know.
Yeah.
But in any case, even like this, for us, for example, it's still nice. Maybe once in 20 years, I will win some gun.
You've never won a gun in the lottery?
No, never. I won just once. No, I won once a cap, and once I won iPad. So that was good.
The iPad's pretty
but
tight.
that's all. But that's all, you know. Not a gun.
Kim, any thoughts on it? I can't say it's an issue I care about, but go ahead.
No, I don't think it's a big issue because the scale of our sport is smaller than, let's say, NFL or soccer. In the case, they have a lot of money, so they can afford more awards. But I think at this point, USPSA or IPSC doesn't have a whole lot of money to prepare all the rewards. So I think it's more interesting and more attracting to people to be in the part of rewarding system rather than only winners. So everybody can anticipate, maybe I can get at least some prize out of it. So I think it's good for now.
Yeah, I'm good with random draw or order of finish. I'm good with either of those. When people start like playing other games with it, I get irritated, but not that irritated because I don't really care about the prizes. That's just me. All right. Well, anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming on, Wansik Maria. Anything else to add? I don't think so. Listeners, if you have a question you'd like the answer to, go to bensteger.com, send me your question. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much.